Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Mexico. This is a very tired JD bringing you a Mexico edition of Morning Musings. I've been down here in La Paz, Mexico, in the Baja Peninsula for the past 4 or 5 days now with my friend Sabino. He's also my accountant, and he had to come down here for a business trip, and he asked me if I wanted to join him, and I said sure. I'm not going to turn down a trip to Mexico. I love it down here. It's a lot of fun. So we've been both doing work during the day. Sabino's doing his accounting work. I'm doing stuff for the blog. And at night, well, we go out with Sabino's friends, and we're out, we go to dinner at 7, 8 o'clock, and we're up till about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, singing, dancing, listening to music, drinking Don Julio 70 tequila. Like I say, it's a lot of fun, but I'm tired. During the few days that I've been here, I've had a chance to talk to a few people about how personal finance works in Mexico. And there's some interesting differences between the United States and Mexico. One of the chief differences seems to be that money here is expensive. And by that, I mean it's expensive to borrow. Interest rates are much higher here than they are in the United States. In the United States, the government has a policy to keep interest rates low right now and for the past decade because that fuels consumption and helps drive the economy. I don't know anything about Mexican monetary policy, but I do know that car loans, for example, are somewhere in the neighborhood of 18%. Mortgages run 10, 12%. And it makes it so that people can't borrow as easily as we can in the United States. Take car loans, for example. If your car loans are going to cost you 18%, you're going to be much less likely to borrow that money. It's just too expensive. You're going to be less likely to purchase a car, or when you do purchase a car, you're going to purchase something that's less expensive than you might otherwise have gone for. As a result, more people drive older cars. They're more likely to buy used. Gas prices are high here, and that, coupled with the high interest rates, means that more people choose alternate forms of transportation. Motorcycles are much more common here, not as a recreational pursuit, but as the actual mode of transportation. And that's because the interest rates are high and the gas prices are high. So car loans are expensive, but mortgages are expensive too. Plus, home prices are high relative to the minimum wage here. I was talking with some of Sabino's employees last night, some of his friends, and they're talking about how, I think they said something like a 60 square meter house, which, let me do some math, that's about 500, 600 square feet. It can go for roughly $30,000, but the daily minimum wage is something like $5. If you do all the math, the daily minimum wage doesn't allow you to own a home. As a result, there are more people who live in houses where there are multiple generations of families, or you have a lot of different friends. In the United States, we have maybe, 3 people per household, if that. Another way that home ownership is different is because homes are expensive and because borrowing is expensive, people tend to build homes gradually. You might save up enough that you can afford to pour the foundation 1 year. Okay, great, you pour the foundation. Then you spend a year or two saving up more, you build the walls. You save some more, and then you're able to put up the roof. And then you save some more, and you can afford to flesh out the inside, build out the inside, and then you can move in. So building a home doesn't take months, it takes years. Not all the time, but often. Another difference that we've talked about is the importance of building relationships, especially with professionals here in Mexico. Now, obviously, building relationships is important in the United States and everywhere else too. Having relationships, establishing a network, I call it your personal finance team. Your lawyer, your accountant, your banker, knowing these people and having somebody you can trust to help you navigate things, that's important everywhere. But here in Mexico, it's especially important. Sabino tells me that, in the US, we have this culture that the customer is always right. And so customer satisfaction is huge. And down here, it's not as important. He says that often you go in someplace and it feels like you're bothering the clerk and they have no incentive to help you. So building the relationships with people at the services that you need to use, your lawyer, your accountant, your banker, it's so important because it makes it so that they're willing to get things done for you. Another cultural difference is just how seriously Mexico takes the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, as opposed to the United States. In the United States, there's a large portion of the population who just doesn't care. And down here, everybody takes it seriously. The rules, I feel, are stricter than in the United States. And you go into a restaurant, you get your temperature taken, you have to disinfect your hands, disinfect your feet. Those are just a few of my thoughts about some of the differences in personal finances between the United States and Mexico after just 4 or 5 days down here. I would love to learn more. Maybe I'll have to come back to La Paz. I've had a ton of fun, like I said, but my smartwatch says I've only been averaging 4 hours and 9 minutes of sleep every night because we have so much fun in the evening, eating and drinking and listening to music. I could do that every day, as long as I could sleep until noon. Got my negative COVID test, which means I can board the plane and return to the United States later this afternoon. And I'll be back in Portland tomorrow to snow. Leaving the warm weather in the desert, heading home to ice and snow. It's gonna be a shock. And that's it for now. I'll see you soon. Take care, everyone.